It comes to my attention that some people believe the universe is a matrix, that we live in a matrix. Is it because of that movie, The Matrix, that we come to this conclusion? How do we know for sure whether we do or not? I would say one thing for sure is it would require a computer that is infinitely powerful. But you'd have to account for the fact that it exists. And if you were to say that the universe came from nothing, it's inherently flawed because nothing has no intellectual design. Basically, nothing is a lack of anything, any design, any knowledge, any light. Just nothingness. So, how do you go from nothing to something? What does this universe require? It requires to be maintained by something or someone with infinite power, but also with infinite knowledge. Because if I were to tell you, you realize that it takes more than the lifetime of the universe that the evolutionist says the universe has been around for light to travel to us. From all the galaxies, all the observable universe, they're much further away than what they say a universe lifespan is. Originally, like 4 billion years. But surely, the age of our observable universe is far more than that. And we couldn't count the number of stars. We only have estimation. But even then, in a single grain of sand, are far more atoms than there are stars. So, each atom got subatomic particle, very well defined. If it were just slightly out of place, if it were just a tiny bit of out of place, it would be very unstable. Atoms are held together by an extremely powerful force called a strong force, and it also has a weak force, which is not really weak, it's just a different kind of force. But we don't see those because they're so small. What we see is gravity and electromagnetic force, which happen on a larger scale. Electromagnetics is an interaction between molecules. And atoms like to combine because they want certain amounts of electrons. And sometimes they combine in order to share and be content. That's how you form a molecule. That's, mind blowing. How do you have random chance to give you something like that? But not only that, every atom functions the same way, except they're different when you have different numbers of elements. Okay? Different numbers of protons. And they likewise want the same amount of electron. And they never actually gain proton. They lose it over time. Everything decays. Why? Because of sin. Well, the only way to explain how the universe came into existence is for me to point out the book of Genesis. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and dark and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And it's interesting to note that God moved along the surface of water. His spirit moved upon it. And he said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And he separated it from darkness, and darkness cannot comprehend it. We can have knowledge of darkness, but darkness cannot have knowledge of good. Does not understand, cannot comprehend what is the light of God. Light comes from God. He's the source of all things. And in my other video, I pointed out that all three of the Trinity were there. They were all there. They're one and the same. And so, I highly suggest that you check that one out. So what we got is light and darkness, right? All you need is 0 and 1. Okay, 0 and 1. For a computer to do anything in this universe. You can make a universe of your own in a computer, right? What you need is information. Valid information. If you don't know anything, you can't do anything, right? So, you need someone, not something. You need someone with all-knowing capacity, omniscient. But you also need omnipotence, because he's all powerful. He held every atom in the universe together, and he knows the name of every size. He knows everything. You cannot have a universe without an omniscient, omnipotent being. It's impossible. The universe requires knowledge and power. And the designer. Intelligent designer. Now, what more than the grain of sand? What more than the number of atoms? In every atom, how many ways can it move around and vibrate before it repeats itself? How many ways can it vibrate? It's the most random thing in the universe, okay? It vibrates when it has heat. If it has no heat, it just stays still. Heat is an energy. If you don't have energy, nothing moves. So, scientifically, it's called temperature, as to how much you have currently. Heat is a transfer of temperature. So, what you got is vibration. It never repeats itself until the end of the universe. That's really complex. Because when we try to do random on a computer, it will eventually repeat itself far sooner. This is why we use atom for encryption. They're very, very reliable, very good quality, true random. Source of random. They're a great source of random. So, doing it by computer, it's done mathematically. You have a formula. This is called pseudorandom. And there are many different kind of formula. But you see, in order for things to vibrate, in order for any existence of mathematics in this world, there has to be the knowledge of its existence and the power to execute it. And you could never hit the end of the decimal. If it would go on forever, you could never hit the end of it. It's infinite. So how can you have a universe that's operated by a computer? For all we know, our computer can't do it. It's finite in here. The answer is, there can only be a living God who created all things. It's not by random chance, which requires the fundamental elements. It requires the components. Random chance. Alone. Born chance. It can't happen by a computer. Because what is a computer? Who designed the computer? God don't need a computer. He holds this universe together. He's not a computer. He's a living God. I hope this video is enlightening to you. God bless you. God bless our President Trump. And God bless America. Please give this video a like and a subscribe. And share it to everybody. If you like it, it will help people to find it. And I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.